Hello everyone, welcome back to some more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time we finished case 4, if I recall correctly, the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro, which, I would go so far as to say it's my favorite case of the game, really. Anyways, today we're going to continue on with the adventure of the unspeakable story. Case 5, the last case of this game. Yes. I don't know about you, but for me, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures feels like too fast. I personally think it's made as like an introduction. Like I'll talk a lot more about this when we finish Case 5, but like literally you'd see like what the case of how Ryunosuke gets his stuff, gets his ambition to be a lawyer, Kazuma dying, and then he really gets his ambition. Like this might be where he learns. This is where he gets his ambition to be a lawyer. Then he comes to Great Britain, learns about trials, and you know what I mean. And maybe it is basically because this is an introduction. Because I know in Resolve, like, what's it called? A lot of the meat and stuff that I would actually call a story per se is in this, so you know what I mean. I guess this game was made to be a big introduction to all the characters. I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk more about this later. But now though, let us get into Case 5, the adventure of the unspeakable story.
It's coming! Sholmes's cry pierced through the thick wall of fog around us. Wisps of vapor flowed over the pistol as I cocked it, and I waited, breathlessly, in the stillness. The silence lasted for what seemed an eternity, until, at last, it appeared. From the shadows of the cloud, an enormous beast sprang out upon us. A hound it was. But not such a hound as any mortal has ever seen. Its eyes glowed with a smoldering glare. The whole of its ox-sized body was outlined in white-hot flames. Its rumbling pant and hideous howl, so terrified was I that I began to tremble with fear. "Look well, Wilson," Sholmes declared, gazing upon the mystical beast. "For this is the diabolical hound of the Baskervilles."
Huh. Okay. Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day that we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. Which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So, life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. "15th of April, huh? As I recall, the last case ended in February, I think it was. So it's been a whole 2 months, or like at least a month. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes? Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh! No, of course not. How silly of me. but I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So, shall we go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite?
Yes! Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food.
She does, doesn't she?
And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form.
Yeah?
Let me see. What case is it today?
Here we go again. That's totally not suspicious. Seriously. Let's talk about the telegram. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean.
Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah? You didn't hear that rapping on the door? Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that.
Well, I didn't think I would.
Really?
Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. It was just a boring old telegram.
That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing.
I promise that I'll tell you about it at some point.
Alright, well, I understand. Alrighty then. Alright, I assume Soseki-san has moved back? Yeah. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, so this is at least 50 days, so that is, yes, 2 months. That's about 2 months. The amount of time that's passed, so yeah.
Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away.
A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him. Do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well.
Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san?
I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san if he had stayed in London? That's all.
You mean, as regards to Lord Van Zieks? The Reaper?
Yes. I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. Yeah. Huh. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be saved from the Reaper, right? Yeah, that's why Soseki-san moved out, because even if you're not guilty, you'll still be burned. Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London.
Even 2 months on, the case of that dreadful fire is still a mystery.
Or the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least now Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means
that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps?
Even if that's the case, it's a little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. Sorry.
If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself.
Does it, though? Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants.
No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zieks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter.
Oh?
Yes, since Soseki-san's trial. He's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems.
Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So, it's just been me who had to face him in his recent spate of trials then? Ugh, just my luck. Huh. And then by that logic, I don't know, is it really coincidence then? Because we're not in any trials, he's not in any trials, so, I mean, at this point, it can't be a coincidence, can it?
Yeah, I wonder if luck doesn't come into it.
Sorry? What was that?
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
Alright. Well, I guess that really is nothing then. Anyways. Let us continue on to Sholmes' suite. Alright.
Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie.
Yep, that voice will work. Okay. What is it?
Good morning, Iris.
Iris?
What is it, Runo?
What is that terrible noise? Sounds like our cat being strangled.
Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you?
Oh.
Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
Good morning. A good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence! So it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Oh, look, it's Wagahai.
Good morning, boy.
That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there?
Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris.
It would indeed be a fine day to die. Ah, I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. Yeah. Well, I won't say that's obvious, but like, I believe there was some big, huge, like, magnifying device thing. Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. It's completely clear. Isn't that an enormous machine usually on it?
We can never hope to understand what goes on in the great detective's mind, Mr. Naruhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite.
Yeah? That's scarily plausible, actually. Huh. Alright. Well, let's see what Sholmes has to say. What's wrong with you? You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case that, in my hands, this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its melissonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over.
Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes?
For hours I have bowed, for days even. Through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion.
Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you?
Don't worry, I'm sure it will come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh, dear. Ah, why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have of the violin for me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction, perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? Alright, let's talk about the missing machine then.
Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today.
Ah, well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit.
Oh no, Mr. Sholmes. They pale into insignificance when compared to yours.
You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you?
You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's at Windibank's now.
Sorry? It's at a windy bank?
No, Windibank's, the pawnbrokery.
Pawn? What? You mean you pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly.
But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed what little income I have to you.
Dear madam, things are far from desperate.
But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate?
Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works.
Oh?
What's to understand exactly? You essentially sell something to somebody, right? How does it work? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks.
Banks?
On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbrokers of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week.
And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us.
But what happens if you can't recoup the losses?
Everyone does it, you see. Especially people in inner London.
Really? But then, yeah, by that logic, you sell something, use the money you got from it to sell more stuff, and then you buy it back? What happens if you can't get it back, if you can't get the money you got back? Like, do you just, like, can't get your stuff anymore? Like, really? Oh my god. Whatever. Anyways, we shall continue. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn should the need arise.
Oh, how ingenious. So, whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windibank's, you see?
A pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain?
Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley?
What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Huh. Well, that sucks. Anyways. Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then.
Oh, yes, and I have become very attached to little Waggy.
Humph. It would appear that his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are as empty as the hearts of the muses.
If Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place.
I expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience.
And for good reason. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy is adorable.
Yes, he really is. Oh, yes. What about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from?
Oh, you noticed? You are observant, Runo. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention.
What? What is that?
I call it the Cat Flabo-Mat.
Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats?
That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. And it can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see.
Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap?
Well, yes, maybe. But now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. Yeah? We don't have cat... Do they have cats come up there? Whatever. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl.
Oh, what was that?
Wagahai? What was that?
Oh no! Wakahai's tangled up in your violin.
How does that even happen?
I think he thinks it's a toy.
Again, how does that even happen? Like... No! What's he doing to it?
Oh dear. Mr. Sholmes' precious violin.
Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised if the cat is a more accomplished musician than I now.
Mr. Sholmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley?
Out of the cat's reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Yeah, sure, why not? It's right over here. Is that a violin? Cause... Okay, no, whatever. I'm saying that it looks a bit big to be a violin. Yeah, whatever. So, this is the violin, is it? It's Stradivarius, one of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. Doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down an nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there any reason to live in a world devoid of music, to tolerate this blanched existence? No. There is none.
Mr. Sholmes?
What, dear madam? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine.
Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think?
Huh? What do you mean, Miss Susato?
Oh, Susie's right! The tone of the wood is completely different! And that's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before.
Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this?
I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all.
Then, what?
I believe that it's an entirely different instrument called a viola.
What?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you...
You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what, pray, is this piece of strange flotsam?
Not your faithful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened.
You do, Iris?
This is just a simple mix-up.
Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. A mix-up? What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris?
Well, you see, this viola, I mean, was at Windibanks until last week. At the Pawnbrokers?
Not Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel.
Yes, indeed.
So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth?
Oh, what a wonderful idea.
Last week, I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear that Mr. Windibank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my eyes cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw! A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time.
But earlier you told us that you can think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault.
Come, Mr. Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, fressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced?
We must visit Mr. Windibank's brokery at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes?
Precisely, Mr. Sato, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to fresh your egg ever more obtusely? Alright, say no more. Let's go then.
Don't worry, Runo. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later.
Oh, thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. Alright, let's do this. Let's see the pawnbrokers. Finally. Oh! We can literally go on. We have two locations, Baker Street and this. Let's head to Baker Street first, right? You never know what we might find here. Oh, it is like right outside. Huh. 22 oh yeah, so this is literally Sholmes' house. So it had been 2 months since we started taking lodgings here. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this.
Oh, I know. To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. Huh. Whatever. Here's the pawnbrokers, so to speak. Look at all the different things in the window of this shop.
Ah, that's Windibank's, the pawnbrokery.
It looks much smarter than a pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right. I find pawn shops at home rather inapproachable, personally.
It reminds me of tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable.
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo. Well,
not so much. Sometimes what doesn't kill us kills us makes us a lot weaker. Anyways, let's head to the pawnbrokery. I don't know why they let us go to Baker Street in the first place. I mean, it's not like there's anything there. 15th of April, Windibank's pawnbrokery. So this is a British pawnbrokery.
oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before.
Ah, Susato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You just can't wait to scour the shelves, can't you? I get the impression you enjoy places like this.
Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me.
My dear fellows, let us not forget why we are here.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. And clearly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of flurry in his eyes. Oh, what voice do I give him?
Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back.
Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windibank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. Alrighty then. Let's talk about the violin. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? This second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windibank. The color of the wood is different, it has holes in it, and it's not even the same size.
A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes.
I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker.
There was only one way to make amends. What the? Yeah? What?
I shall have to take my own life.
Yeah? I don't think that will be necessary. Do you?
If I may just say one thing before I pop off.
Yes?
It was you, sir, Mr. Sholmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe.
Sorry? As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, "Ah, here it is." You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So, I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Yeah?
It would appear that the fight is over.
I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Herlock Sholmes without that. A questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of the particular collection of items you've brought through my door in the past.
Oh? Peculiar items?
In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Herlock Sholmes or some such.
Oh my! A new, full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I have yet to read, you mean?
Forgive me.
Wait, before you die, you must tell me more.
Okay, what's the so-called unpublished story?
I must know more. Tell me everything.
Wow, Susato-san really is fired up now.
Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof?
Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It houses something of great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I beg your pardon? A manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. That was that. Such Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery, it lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? That seems a bit irresponsible. Do I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life. This is all very strange. Yeah? Just gonna dodge the question entirely? Okay then. I wonder, could I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the East, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry? Aha! But for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colours are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say.
Oh my! 5 guineas, you say? How interesting.
Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure storage. If, in that time, they repay the original sum to me, plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. Oh, so it's not the very week, it's 2 months, technically speaking. Right? Yeah. 2 months of secure storage, yeah. So if you can't get the money in 2 months, you can't get your stuff back. Oh, okay. That makes more sense than having to do that every single week. I mean, you could, but at the same time. Then the items are offered for sale at my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me.
So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed, then?
That's right, ma'am. That's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Winterbank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually, says the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. And let us not forget that I have already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device which Mr. Winterbank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Winterbank? What was that deep sigh about? Yeah? What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling.
I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device.
Very astute. It is indeed a camera, furnished with some hundred pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. So it takes a photo every 30 minutes? I feel like that would take thousands of ink, wouldn't it? I mean, literally, like, if I do some quick math here, if I get my calculator out, if it does every 30 minutes, right? Then 24 hours in a day times 30 minutes in every hour is 720 minutes a day. That's 720 pictures a day. It says what? Some hundred? I mean, yeah, 700. That's like, but that's even so. That's like every day it's using 700 pieces of film. Like, you're telling me that, what's it called? You're telling me that, what's it called? That's like a big cost. There, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like a huge cost for like ink, ink and maybe not ink, but like it costs a lot for film because that's like 720 per day. You'd be buying a pack of 1,000 every single day, or something like that, right? And even if it's like an automated thing that you can turn on and off, let's say he turns it on in the middle of the night, then we cut this in half, say for like 12 hours, that's about 360 photographs. That is literally, you have to buy 1,000 pieces of film every, 2 days or so? Right? Hey, let me do one more thing here. Let's say we go from 9 to 6, that'd be good. 9 to 6, that is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, no wait, yeah. It's not 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that's 9 hours right there. 9 hours times 30 minutes, 270 minutes. Yes, that's 270 photos. So yeah, literally, what I'm trying to say here is that, like, that seems to be like a high price for film, is what I'm trying to say. Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity of the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really? That's extraordinary.
Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look.
So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed.
But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals?
Indeed, as you said, madam.
Then what if the incident were to occur in between times?
One could say that would be a cruel twist of fate. Yeah? So you expect people to rob the place at what's it called? The exact hour and half hour sharp? I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Winterbank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. I knew it. You most graciously placed not one but 2 cameras in my shop after all, which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. Yeah. Wow, okay. Wait, then by that logic, why wouldn't you just have one camera that look out over the whole shop? I mean, I get that it might be narrow, but just put it in a place that views the most at things as possible. Well, no. Then again, if we look at that photograph, that view is extremely narrow. But at the same time, I'm afraid that the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery. No? My dear fellows, we verge at an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Holmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Winterbank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop. Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry. I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Winterbank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Holmes. Huh. Well, that's something. But before that, I think I want to end things here because. Well, do I want to end things here? You know, I think I'll go for a little longer. I'm just thinking of what's. I'm thinking of what's going to happen next, and if we have enough time to get through the whole thing. I guess we have enough time to get into a bit of it, so fine then. I suppose this is good.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last.
Okay, there are a few things we need to look at in here. The main thing is this right here.
Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does?
It seems to have 2 little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you're looking at here is a stereoscope.
A stereoscope. Fascinating.
It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me for a moment while I just have a look.
Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. As in, like, looking at the middle of your nose, if that makes sense. However, if that is beyond you, It is of little consequence today.
Alright then, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah?
Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once.
Oh. Alright then. So, I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. Huh. What the? Yes, so this. Okay, I was gonna find some more. I was gonna find some more images online, but I guess this will do. Yes. So, stereoscopic images are a bit weird in that you have like it's literally the idea is two pictures placed side by side that you would look at cross-eyed, and you would essentially see a 3D version of that image. So, what I'm gonna yeah, you guys can look at this right here. Okay, so yeah. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove my switch out of the thing and look at the thing so I can see it for a moment. And yeah, so just wait a moment, I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back, sorry. Yeah, I was just looking at that for a second. Yeah, it is actually really cool because you can see like a 3D view of it. Yeah, so if you're on a computer, can you see this from a computer? Let me see. No, not quite. It has to be like a certain distance away from your eyes in order to see it properly. So yeah, if you have like a mobile device you can put this on, then great, then you're good. But well, don't strain your eyes. And yeah, actually, let me actually do this for a second here. Because it's not only in this game, there's actually, if we look it up, it is, where is it? Me. There we go. So great, you get a behind the scenes look at my computer. Let's add a window capture quickly. There. There we go. So yeah, great. You get a nice little behind the scenes look of things. If I show you what stereoscopic images, right? And we go here. There are literally a bunch of, as you can see right here, there are literally like a bunch of different images just like this one that you can literally just get a phone or something like that and just kind of look at. So, you know, there's that. Anyways, tangent aside, let's get back to the episode. What the? I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? Well, I would call that mere illusion, not black magic. It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. I mean, I guess you can think of it as like an optical illusion or something like that. Or maybe, because you're looking at it cross-eyed, one eye is looking at the opposite side's image. So your right eye would be looking at the left image, while your left eye would be looking at the right image. Kind of creating that whole thing, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Anyways.
Oh.
Okay, actually, I think this is where we'll end it off, because next episode is where things could really get started, so yeah. Next time on the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we will, I guess, really start the case. Like, I mean, the case is already basically started, but like, here's where, like, we actually get into the meat of everything. yeah, so yeah. I will see you all next time.